Hey everyone, welcome back to Brain Boogers. I'm MJ, and today we're talking about attention. Yes, that thing you lost somewhere between your fifth notification and your third cup of coffee. Because apparently, nobody told us adulthood was just one big game of resource Tetris and a never ending game of where did my day go? So, may I have your attention as we ration out your meat? That's our money, energy, attention, and time, like it's the apocalypse and someone just announced a sale on common sense. If you haven't, please click the subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you never miss the latest. Share this episode with someone who could use a little inspiration. Your experiences help us all move forward together. And thank you for listening in. A quote from Richard Moss says, "The greatest gift you can give another is the purity of your attention." Before we begin, please note, the content shared on this podcast is intended for informational and educational purposes only, and is based on research, personal experiences as a coach, and anecdotes from my wellness journey. I am not a psychiatrist, psychologist, psychoanalyst, therapist, or licensed mental health professional. This podcast does not offer medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. If you are experiencing mental health issues or have inquiries concerning your well-being, it is advised to seek assistance from a qualified healthcare provider or mental health professional. And I have your attention. Attention, probably the second most sought after of your semi-renewable resources behind time. If we take a moment to look around, we'll see that everyone's attention seems to be the second most given or relinquished resource. Of course, by our responsibilities and definitely by those who want to anchor your bank account to their cause. Your attention is likely far more valuable than your money. After all, we can't get your money or energy without getting your attention, be it fleeting or undivided. Remember when you could focus for more than 30 seconds without checking your phone? Me neither. Attention these days is like a toddler in a toy store, easily distracted, impossible to wrangle, and prone to sudden meltdowns. It's the act of noticing, focusing, or being mindful of something. Psychologically, it's the cognitive process of selectively focusing on a specific piece of information while ignoring other perceivable information. The word attention comes from the Latin word tendere, which means to stretch toward or to direct the mind or energies to, or a giving heed, or mental concentration. I can give you a lot more ors, but you get the gist. Attention literally means stretching your mind toward something. Pretty poetic, right? It's all about where you direct your mental energy. If we dig a little deeper, we find that focus refers to the center of interest or activity, or the act of concentrating attention or effort on a particular object, task, or thought. The word focus comes from the Latin word focus, which originally meant hearth or fireplace, the center of a home and a gathering point. In the early 17th century, it was adopted in scientific contexts for like optics and geometry to mean the point at which rays converge. And by the mid 18th century and onward, we gained the broader sense of center of activity or energy and concentration of attention. In essence, focus literally started as the hearth, the place everyone gathered around. Over time, it evolved to mean the center point of attention or activity, and now in personal growth and productivity, it's all about where you direct your mental and emotional energy. Here's a quote from Esther Hicks: "What you focus on expands." We all know ways people and organizations try to take advantage of our attention and skew our focus. For example, platforms like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and Twitter use sophisticated algorithms to keep you scrolling. They serve up content that's designed to trigger emotional responses, dopamine hits from likes, outrage from controversial posts, or FOMO from friends' updates. Websites and news outlets often use sensational or misleading headlines to get you to click, even if the content doesn't deliver what's promised. The goal: more clicks equal more ad revenue. Apps send frequent notifications to pull you back in, even for trivial reasons. This interrupts your focus and keeps you coming back, often more than you intended. Features like infinite scrolling and autoplay on YouTube, Netflix, and TikTok are engineered to keep you consuming content without conscious decision making. Advertisers track your behavior online and serve hyper-targeted ads to capture your attention and influence your buying decisions, even when you're not actively shopping. Flash sales, countdown timers, and limited time offers are designed to hijack your attention and push you into impulsive decisions. Through gamification, apps and websites use points, badges, streaks, and rewards to keep you engaged and coming back for more. Next time you find yourself on your favorite high consumption, fast fashion retailer, take a moment to notice the use of casino prompts, flashing lights, spinning wheels of winnings, dings, and other sound effects to boost your dopamine and lock you in. Websites use pop-ups, exit intent offers, and forced signups to grab your attention before you can even read the content you came for. And bombarding you with too much information, emails, news, alerts can scatter your attention and make it harder to focus on what truly matters. This even happens in person when someone is attempting to sell you on something. Content that triggers strong emotions, anger, fear, excitement, is more likely to grab and hold your attention. Think outrage-driven news or viral controversies. It's like digital rubbernecking. Once you see it, you can't seem to pull yourself away from it. I want to bring up a concept called attentional capture, which is employed on all of us in one way or many. First, the brain's alert system. Our brains are wired to notice sudden changes, loud noises, bright colors, or movement, anything that could signal danger or opportunity. This helped our ancestors survive. Attentional capture is mostly unconscious. Before you even realize it, your brain has shifted your focus to the new stimulus. Next, the neural pathways involved here are the sensory cortex. First, your senses, sight, sound, etc., detect a novel or intense stimulus. Then the thalamus acts as a relay station, quickly sending this information to other parts of the brain. If the stimulus is emotional, fear, shock, excitement, the amygdala kicks in, prioritizing it even more. And the parietal and frontal lobes are regions that help direct your conscious attention and decide if you should stay focused on the new thing or return to your original task. The neurochemicals at play are dopamine. When something novel or surprising happens, Dopamine is released, making you more alert and reinforcing the shift in attention. And norepinephrine, this fight or flight chemical, also heightens alertness, sharpening your senses toward the new stimulus. The costs of attentional capture are interruptions to deep work, and they can be manipulated. For interruptions to deep work, every time your attention is captured, it can take several minutes to refocus on your original task. This is called the switch cost. And it can be manipulated where media, marketers, and tech designers know how to trigger attentional capture with headlines, alerts, and shocking content. Our brains are hardwired to notice the unexpected, a survival trait that made sense in the wild, but today it means we're vulnerable to every ping, headline, and viral video. When your attention is captured, it's not just willpower at play. It's a cascade of neural activity and chemical signals telling your brain this is important. Understanding attentional capture isn't about blaming yourself for being distracted. It's about recognizing the powerful biology at work and learning how to work with it, not against it. Your attention is valuable, so valuable that entire industries are built around capturing and selling it. Being aware of these tactics is the first step to protecting your focus and using your attention intentionally. With today's attention diet, society says, multitask, be everywhere, respond instantly. Translation? Let's see how many tabs your brain can handle before it blue screens. We're all out here trying to be present, but our brains are running multiple apps in the background, and the Wi-Fi signal is weak. You want to meditate, but you end up doom scrolling. You want to read a book, but suddenly you're elbows deep in a Wikipedia rabbit hole about the history of spoons. And while you make a conscious effort to manage your attention, others have become gurus on how to steal your attention and keep you looking over here. Newsflash, your attention is big business. Apps, ads, and algorithms are fighting for your focus like it's the last toy on Black Friday. They want your eyeballs, your clicks, and, if you're feeling generous, your soul. And what do you get in return? A headache, a dozen half-finished tasks, and the vague sense you forgot something important. Pay attention. Attention these days is like a cat, aloof, unpredictable, and only shows up when you're doing something else. But did you know your personality type, yep, that old canoe model, conscientiousness, agreeableness, neuroticism, openness to experience, and extroversion, is basically the secret algorithm behind your brain's now focusing screen? I'm kidding, but it does help a lot. So let's break it down. We can think of conscientiousness as the laser pointer when it works. High conscientiousness? You focus like a Navy SEAL. Lists, color-coded planners, and the ability to ignore a marching band outside your window. Low conscientiousness? Your attention span is, wait, what was I saying? And your to-do list is just a collection of broken promises. We can think of agreeableness as the let me just check in. High agreeableness? Your attention is wherever someone else needs it. You're so busy helping others, your own priorities are still waiting in the lobby. Low agreeableness? You're immune to guilt trips and can ignore drama like a pro. Your attention is yours. Everyone else can get in line. Neuroticism is the anxiety pop-up ad. High neuroticism? Your attention is held hostage by every what if? Did I lock the door? And was that email too blunt? Congratulations, your brain is a 24/7 notification center. Low neuroticism? you're so chill, distractions bounce off you like rubber ducks in a hurricane. We can think of openness as the shiny object collector. High openness? Your attention is everywhere. Pinterest boards, new hobbies, and Wikipedia deep dives on ancient bread recipes. You start a task and end up learning Mandarin or designing a spaceship. Low openness? You're focused on routine. Distractions are for the weak, or, the interesting. And extroversion is the social butterfly's dilemma. High extroversion? Your attention is always on the next conversation, the next notification, the next party invite. You could focus, but what if something more exciting happens? Low extroversion? You guard your attention like it's your last piece of chocolate, and no, you can't have any. So if you're wondering why your attention is always wandering off like a toddler in a toy aisle, look at your canoe. Your personality traits are basically bouncers at club focus. Some let distractions in, others keep them out, and a few are just texting in the corner. And the more you know your canoe, the less you'll beat yourself up when your attention span goes on vacation. To find out why your focus has commitment issues, let's look at attachment styles and attention. In my humble opinion, attention is the currency of the 21st century, and most of us are out here making it rain on all the wrong things. But guess what? Your attachment style is basically your brain's financial advisor, sometimes helpful, sometimes a total scam. The secure attachment is the chill investor, where the attention goes and you're not afraid of commitment. You can binge a book, finish a project, and still have bandwidth left to remember where you put your keys. Your focus is loyal, steady, and not easily swayed by shiny distractions. Honestly, teach us your ways. The anxious attachment is the overdraft account. Your attention is everywhere and nowhere, constantly checking in, rechecking, and triple checking. You're hyper alert to every notification, every tone shift, every read receipt. If attention were money, you'd be paying overdraft fees just to keep up with all the emotional transactions. The avoidant attachment is the ghoster. Your attention? Oh, it was here and now it's gone. You can zone out of a conversation faster than a Wi-Fi drop in a basement. You guard your focus like it's state secrets. Nobody's getting in unless you say so, and even then, good luck. And then there's the fearful avoidant. This is the hot and cold stock. Your attention is a roller coaster. One minute you're all in, the next you're ghosting your own to-do list. Focus? Only if it doesn't get too close. You want to pay attention, but not if it means feeling exposed. Basically, your brain's running a soap opera, and attention is the dramatic lead. If you're wondering why you can't focus, look at your attachment style and start learning secure attachment skills. It's not just your phone's fault. It's your inner child, your past relationships, and maybe that one time you got left on red. Attention is precious. So whether you're loyal, anxious, avoidant, or just plain dramatic, try giving your focus a little security. Your projects and your sanity will thank you. Now, let's take a look at those socially patterned defects that make our focus evaporate faster than your paycheck after rent. Let's face it, we've all been programmed with some delightful defects. There's the notification addiction, society, stay connected. In reality, you're Pavlov's dog, but instead of a bell, it's your phone pinging every 12 seconds. Congrats, your attention is now a subscription service, and everyone's got a free trial. The myth of multitasking. Society says multitask, be everywhere, respond instantly. Translation, let's see how many browser tabs you can open before your brain crashes. Spoiler alert, you're not multitasking, You're just doing several things badly at once. There's comparison scrolling. Society says, see what everyone else is doing. Reality, you're 3 hours deep into a stranger's vacation photos and suddenly questioning your life choices. Your focus, still waiting for you to come back. There's people pleasing. Society says, don't ignore anyone. Reality, you're replying to texts you don't care about and RSVPing to events you'll ghost anyway. Attention spent? All. Satisfaction gained? None. There's the fear of missing out, the addiction of social media. Society says, don't miss out. Reality? You're so busy trying to be everywhere that you're actually nowhere. Your attention's lost, wandering the void with your unused gym membership. Here are some solutions to be aware of and manage socially patterned defects. Unsubscribe from the circus. Mute those notifications. If it's really urgent, they'll call, or show up, or send a carrier pigeon. If it's an emergency, they'll call 911. One tab at a time. Try focusing on one thing. Just one, I know, revolutionary. If anyone asks, tell them you're deep working, or just napping. Say no like you mean it. Your inbox is not a suggestion box. Your attention is not a public park. Fence it in. Establish boundaries. And let yourself miss out. FOMO is a scam. JOMO, joy of missing out, is where it's at. Try it. Your attention will send you a thank you card. Society wants your attention, and it's not giving it back. So in the meat model, treat your attention like your last piece of chocolate. I keep saying that. Maybe some of you don't like chocolate, but treat it like it's the last piece of whatever you really, really, really like. Bite it, savor it, and for the love of focus, don't let anyone else have it. Here's a quote from Newport. Your attention is one of the most valuable things you possess. Lately, our attention has been under attack so much that we have names for medical and psychological conditions related to attention. Before I jump into that list, I want to highlight something for you. We are very, very good at mimicking others. Our mirror neurons are always working. They were discovered by an Italian team of neuroscientists in the early 1990s. Mirror neurons have been identified in primates, and strong evidence suggests humans have them too. They're located primarily in the premotor cortex, involved in planning movements. Evidence suggests they're active in other brain regions tied to emotion and sensation. Mirror neurons are special brain cells that fire both when you perform an action and when you observe someone else performing that same action. If you watch someone smile, the same neurons activate in your brain as if you were smiling yourself. They activate instantly whenever you observe or imagine an action, gesture, or even an emotion in another person. When you see someone perform an action, your mirror neurons simulate that action internally, as if you were doing it yourself. This internal mirroring helps you understand and connect with others on a deep, almost automatic level. That's why yawning is contagious, why you might wince when you see someone get hurt, and why watching someone dance can make you feel like moving too. Mirror neurons are thought to play a key role in empathy, learning, social connection, and language development. Some theories suggest they help us understand and mimic speech. Mirror neurons are like the brain's Wi-Fi for empathy and learning. They let us tune in to each other's experiences, helping us connect, learn, and even feel what others feel without saying a word. Here's how mirror neurons might play a role in the rise of self-diagnosis and the spread of attention disorders in our culture. 1. Mirror neurons are the empathy engine. Mirror neurons help us feel with others. When we observe someone's actions or emotions, our own brain simulates what they're experiencing. This is the foundation for empathy, imitation, and social learning. Core human traits that help us bond and understand each other. 2. Social media and shared symptoms. On platforms like TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram, people openly share their experiences with ADHD, ADD, and other attention challenges. When you watch or listen to someone describe their struggles, your mirror neurons can make you feel those symptoms in your own mind and body, even if just for a moment. This can lead to a sense of identification. That sounds just like me, even if it's not a clinical match. 3. Empathy, mimicry, and self diagnosis. Because mirror neurons help us imitate and emotionally resonate with others, repeated exposure to stories about attention disorders can blur the line between empathy and self experience. Especially in tight knit online communities, it's easy to unconsciously mimic behaviors, language, or even symptoms, amplifying the sense that maybe I have this too. 4. The inertia of conformity. When more people in your social circle, online or offline, identify with a particular diagnosis, mirror neurons can subtly encourage you to adopt similar patterns, sometimes out of belonging, sometimes out of genuine resonance. This doesn't mean people are faking, it's a natural result of deep social wiring. And 5. The double-edged sword. On one side, this empathy and openness can reduce stigma and help people seek support who genuinely need it. And on the other, it can also lead to over-identification, self-diagnosis without proper assessment, and sometimes unnecessary anxiety or medicalization of normal experiences. Mirror neurons are why we yawn when others yawn, but they also help us catch emotions and even symptoms from those around us, especially online. This can be empowering, but it's important to balance empathy with self-awareness and seek real assessment when it comes to mental health. Have you ever recognized a symptom in yourself after hearing about someone else's experience? How did you sort out what was truly your own? If we look around, we'll see there has been a rise in self-diagnosis and attention disorders. The influence of social media and pop culture and widespread awareness through platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube have made information about ADHD, ADD, and other attention-related conditions more accessible than ever. This has helped reduce stigma, but it's also led to a flood of self-diagnosis. And when people see relatable content, like someone describing their struggles with focus, procrastination, or forgetfulness, it's natural to empathize. Sometimes, people unconsciously start mimicking these behaviors or symptoms, especially in online communities where these experiences are shared frequently and with passion. The power of suggestion and conformity can be looked at like a social contagion. When attention issues are talked about openly and often, especially by influencers or peers, it's easy for people to start seeing those traits in themselves, even if it's just normal forgetfulness or distraction. For example, and I'm talking to you, my fellow Generation Ys, as well as Zs, Xs, and Boomers. We are bombarded with brain and neuroplasticity games and ads, forgetting that we don't remember everything. And anyone telling you they do is a statistical outlier, great for observation, but not to be included in the deciding data without a citation. Your brain will lose memories and create new ones well into your aged and seasoned years. So if you forgot where your keys are, chalk that up to being busy in the moment, and remember that that reaction you had to the Showbiz Pizza Bear in your childhood will one day be forgotten in your elder years. And group identity. There's comfort in belonging to a group or having a label that explains your struggles. Sometimes the desire to fit in or to have an explanation for everyday challenges can lead people to adopt an identity around a condition they may not clinically have. Real disorders versus everyday distraction. You see, there's the clinical versus normal. It's important to remember that everyone experiences distraction, procrastination, and even periods of low motivation. True ADHD or ADD is a neurodevelopmental disorder with persistent, pervasive symptoms that significantly interfere with daily life, work, or relationships, diagnosed through a comprehensive clinical assessment. We tend to overpathologize. Not every struggle with focus is a disorder. Sometimes it's stress, poor sleep, digital overload, or even just being human in a noisy, distracted world. When we empathize deeply with others' stories, especially those that explain their struggles, it can be easy to internalize those narratives as our own. This isn't about faking, but about the powerful pull of shared experience and the human desire for understanding and validation. Here's what we can do about it. 1. Engage in self-reflection. Ask, are these symptoms new or lifelong? Do they significantly disrupt my life? Or am I just having a tough week or month? 2. Seek clinical assessment. Only a qualified professional can diagnose attention disorders. Self-awareness is great, but self-diagnosis has limits. 3. Normalize everyday struggles. It's normal to have distracted days, especially in today's world. You're not broken if you struggle sometimes. And 4. Celebrate neurodiversity, but stay grounded. Embrace the diversity of human attention and focus styles, but avoid labeling yourself or others without proper understanding. Empathy and awareness are powerful, but so is discernment. Not every struggle with focus means you have ADHD or ADD. Sometimes it's just the noise of modern life or power of suggestion at work. Have you ever felt swept up in a diagnosis you saw online? What helped you sort out what's real for you? Now, let's quickly look at those medical conditions related to attention. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, or ADHD, is a neurodevelopmental disorder characterized by persistent patterns of inattention, hyperactivity, and impulsivity. Symptoms include difficulty sustaining attention, distractibility, forgetfulness, trouble organizing tasks, and impulsiveness. This is expressed through different types: inattentive, hyperactive impulsive, and combined. Traumatic brain injury is injury to the brain from an external force that can disrupt attention, memory, and other cognitive functions. Symptoms include trouble focusing, distractibility, slow processing speed, and difficulty multitasking. Dementia, including Alzheimer's disease, is characterized by a progressive decline in cognitive function, often affecting memory, attention, and executive function. Symptoms include poor concentration, easily distracted, and trouble following conversations or instructions. Depression is a mood disorder that can impair cognitive functions, including attention and concentration. Symptoms include difficulty focusing, forgetfulness, and mental fatigue. Anxiety disorders are conditions like generalized anxiety disorder or panic disorder that can lead to racing thoughts, and difficulty concentrating. Symptoms include trouble focusing, restlessness, and mind going blank. Sleep disorders, such as insomnia and sleep apnea, are characterized by poor sleep quality or quantity and can drastically reduce attention and alertness. Symptoms include daytime drowsiness, mental fog, and trouble staying focused. Learning disabilities where disorders like dyslexia can impact attention, especially when tasks involve reading or processing language. Symptoms include trouble focusing on reading and being easily distracted during tasks requiring sustained attention. Schizophrenia is a severe mental disorder that affects thinking, feeling, and behavior, often impacting attention. Symptoms include difficulty filtering out irrelevant stimuli and trouble maintaining focus. The autism spectrum disorder is a neurodevelopmental disorder where attention can be either hyper-focused on specific interests or easily distracted by sensory input. Symptoms include difficulty shifting attention, hyper-focus on certain topics, and distractibility. And chronic fatigue syndrome, or fibromyalgia, are conditions marked by persistent fatigue and pain, often accompanied by brain fog and attention issues. Symptoms include trouble concentrating, forgetfulness, and mental fatigue. Attention problems can also be caused by medication side effects such as sedatives and hypnotics, anti-anxiety and antidepressants, antipsychotics, and even some antihistamines, pain meds, and anticonvulsants, even some overactive bladder and chemo medications, as well as substance use, high stress, or even nutritional deficiencies. All of these can lead to drowsiness, confusion, and short-term memory problems, especially if used regularly or in high doses. They may slow processing speed, reduce attention, and impair both short-term and long-term memory. Some can cause brain fog, reduced concentration, and memory issues, although these effects vary by individual and medication type. Some may cause sedation, slowed thinking, and memory impairment, especially at higher doses. First-generation antihistamines are notorious for causing drowsiness and fatigue and cognitive slowing, including attention and memory problems. Some can block acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter important for memory, leading to confusion and forgetfulness. Many cancer treatments can cause chemobrain, a mix of attention, memory, and processing problems. If you are concerned about medication side effects, talk with a healthcare provider before making any changes. So, other than when medical and psychological expressions persist on their own, there's the external economy of your attention, or the business of distraction, sometimes called the attention economy or industry of distraction, which refers to the massive ecosystem of companies, platforms, and technologies that profit by capturing, holding, and selling your attention. Here's a quote from Mary Oliver: "To pay attention, this is our endless and proper work." Okay, so now what is this business or industry of distraction? It's an industry built around monetizing your attention, treating it as a commodity to be bought, sold, and manipulated. The more time and focus you give, the more valuable you are to those businesses. Here are some key players and their tactics. 1. Social media platforms profit by selling your attention to advertisers. The longer you scroll, the more ads you see. Through endless feeds, notifications, algorithmic content, trending topics and viral challenges. 2. News and media outlets gain profit through ad revenues from clicks, views, and shares, hooking you with sensational headlines, breaking news alerts, outrage cycles, and clickbait. 3. Mobile apps and games profit from your in-app purchases, ads, and data collection by using push notifications, streaks, gamification, and addictive design features. 4. Streaming services profit through subscription fees and sometimes ads, keeping your attention through autoplay, binge watching cues, and personalized recommendations. 5. Advertisers and marketers profit by targeting you with ever more personalized and persuasive ads, often using data harvested from your online activity. And 6. Tech companies profit by selling devices, data, and services that keep you engaged and coming back for more. So now, why do we feel powerless to this? A few reasons. The first being human psychology. These industries exploit natural brain wiring for novelty, reward, and connection. Next, data-driven algorithms constantly learn what grabs your attention and optimize to keep you hooked. And through scale, billions of people are plugged in, one penny at a time, making attention the most valuable resource online. The impact we feel is both personal with reduced focus, anxiety, FOMO, and even addiction, and societal with shorter attention spans, misinformation spreading, and less accountability for important issues. Thankfully, some companies and creators are pushing back, building tech and media that respect your attention, promote well-being, and encourage mindful use. So remember, your attention is valuable. The industry of distraction wants to monetize it, but you have the power to choose where it goes. How do you notice the business of distraction showing up in your daily life? And what boundaries help you reclaim your focus? A quote from Epictetus: "You become what you give your attention to." A quote from Tony Robbins: "Where your attention goes, energy flows." Lately, my fellow Gen Ys have asked some questions to get some answers, especially around the modern battle of distraction versus attention. Distractions are everywhere, especially now with media cycles and individuals, sometimes even those in power, deliberately trying to pull our attention away from what truly matters. Whether it's sensational news, viral controversies, or endless notifications, the result is the same. Our focus gets scattered, and it becomes harder to hold ourselves and others accountable. Distractions undermine our accountability through diluted focus. When our attention is constantly pulled in different directions, it's easy to lose track of important issues, social, political, or personal. Through manufactured outrage, media outlets may amplify trivial controversies to distract from bigger, systemic problems. And through information overload, with so much noise, people may feel overwhelmed or apathetic, making it harder to demand or maintain accountability from leaders, organizations, or even themselves. So because it's time to make a change, what can we, the people, do? Let's start with 1. Cultivating mindful awareness by regularly checking in with ourselves and asking, is this where I want my attention to be? Then, practice mindfulness or meditation to strengthen our attention muscle. 2. Set clear intentions by deciding what matters most to you, personally and as a citizen. Write down your priorities and revisit them often. 3. Curate your media diet by limiting exposure to sensationalist views and social media that doesn't align with your values. Seek out reputable, balanced sources and long form content that encourages deep thinking. 4. Hold yourself accountable and notice when you're being pulled off course and gently redirect your focus. Use tools like journaling or accountability buddies to track your attention and actions. 5. Demand accountability from others and stay informed about important issues even when distractions arise. Engage in respectful dialogue, ask tough questions, and support transparency in your community, workplace, or government. And 6. Take digital breaks by scheduling regular attention resets, where you unplug from screens and headphones and reconnect with your goals. Distractions are designed to scatter us, but we have the power to reclaim our attention. By being intentional, mindful, and proactive, we not only protect our own focus, we also strengthen our ability to hold ourselves and others accountable for what truly matters. What's one area where you feel your attention has been hijacked lately? And what's one small step you can take this week to reclaim it? When we realize that our attention is dwindling quickly, let's look at Halt, the focus thieves. Ever tried to focus while Halt is in town? Good luck. It's like trying to binge read a book in the middle of a toddler birthday party, blindfolded. Hungry? Your stomach's growling so loud, even your to-do list is scared. Instead of focusing, you're mentally building a sandwich with your attention span sponsored by snacks. Angry? Oh, you wanted to concentrate? Sorry. Your brain is busy replaying that argument from 3 days ago. Your focus is out back, plotting revenge. Lonely? You sit down to work, but suddenly you're texting everyone you know, stalking your ex's dog on Instagram, and considering joining a knitting club. Attention? Ghosted. Tired? You open your laptop, blink, and wait, how long have you been staring at this sentence? Attention status? Asleep at the wheel. Society says just power through, focus harder. Sure, because nothing improves attention like ignoring your basic needs. Next, they'll tell you to drink more coffee and manifest productivity with a vision board. Here's the deal. If Halt is running the show, attention isn't even in the building. Hungry? Eat something. Preferably not just your feelings. Angry? Scream into a pillow, vent to a friend, or write a dramatic diary entry. And find out why you're angry. Likely due to an expectation that needed to be reviewed. Being angry isn't bad until it hurts you and others. Anger is highlighting that something needs to be addressed or forsaken. Lonely? Hug your pet or talk to a real human in person or on the phone. Tired? Do that thing that we stopped doing for some reason other than it being sensible. Nap. Or meditate. Or just stare blankly into space. It's called preloading focus. If you want your attention to stick around, you've got to feed it, calm it, connect it, and let it rest. Otherwise, it's off chasing butterflies while you wonder why you can't remember what you were doing. Here's a quote from Tom Peters. The simple act of paying positive attention to people has a great deal to do with productivity. Now, how do we guard our attention like it's a precious metal? Try this. Mute the noise. Your phone has a do not disturb button for a reason. Use it, or, pretend you did and just ignore people. Single task like a rebel. Try doing one thing at a time. I know it's so radical. If anyone asks why you're not multitasking, tell them you're practicing mindfulness, or just say your brain is on strike. And audit your attention leeches. Identify what sucks up your focus. Endless group chats, pointless meetings, that one friend who sends TikToks at 3 a.m. Set boundaries, or at least lower your expectations. Before we go, I want to touch on our aging brains versus the ads and commercials. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to change, adapt, and rewire itself throughout life. This means that even if someone struggles with attention, memory, or learning, their brain can still form new connections and pathways, literally changing its structure in response to new experiences, learning, or even injury. Some key points to remember are: this is a lifelong process, there's a hopeful message, and be consistent. So, this is a lifelong process means that neuroplasticity isn't just for kids or young adults. Adults of all ages can build new skills, habits, and coping mechanisms. The hopeful message is, even if memory fades or attention feels scattered, the brain is always capable of growth and adaptation. And with consistency, the practice like mindfulness, learning new skills, or using attention strategies aid the brain in strengthening those neural pathways. Think of it as mental reps at the gym. In the age of information overload, there's a lot of noise about brain health, attention, and hacks. It's important to differentiate between well researched strategies and myths or misinformation. We can spot good research by seeking peer reviewed sources, seeking information from qualified practitioners, and, as we assume the role of citizen scientists, let's seek replicable results. Here are common myths we hear and should watch out for. You only use 10% of your brain. Not true. Almost all parts of your brain have known functions. Or, brain games alone will make you smarter. They can help, but real world learning and engagement matter more. Or what about, memory loss is inevitable and can't be improved? While some decline is natural, neuroplasticity means improvement is possible at any age. It's natural for memory and cognitive speed to change as we age or face challenges, but that doesn't mean growth stops. In fact, learning new things, building routines, and using attention strategies can create new neural pathways, helping us adapt to changes and even offset some losses. So, embrace change. The fading of certain memories or abilities doesn't mean the end of learning or growth. Stay curious. New experiences and challenges are opportunities for your brain to rewire and adapt. And be gentle with yourself. Progress may be slow, but every effort helps shape a stronger, more resilient mind. And while we don't think of it, let's quickly look at how dopamine is hijacked in the attention economy. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter often called the motivator or reward chemical. It's released in the brain when we anticipate or experience something pleasurable, new, or rewarding, like eating, social connection, or achieving a goal. In today's world, many platforms and products are intentionally designed to trigger dopamine spikes, keeping us hooked and coming back for more. Here's how. 1. Through endless novelty. Social feeds, news apps, and streaming platforms constantly present new, unpredictable content. Each scroll, swipe, or click offers a potential reward, triggering a dopamine hit. 2. Through variable rewards. Like slot machines, social media uses unpredictable rewards, likes, comments, and viral videos. This uncertainty is highly addictive. Your brain keeps seeking the next win. 3. Through notifications and alerts. Every ping or buzz signals potential social connection or novelty. The anticipation alone can spike dopamine, pulling you out of the present moment. 4. Through instant gratification. One-click shopping, binge watching, and rapid-fire content deliver quick rewards with little effort. Over time, this can make it harder to focus on activities that require patience or delayed gratification. And 5. Through gamification. Points, Badges, streaks, and achievements in apps and games are engineered to keep you engaged and seeking more. By these methods, our attention experiences fragmentation with constant dopamine driven distractions, making it tough to focus deeply or stick with challenging tasks. Reduce satisfaction through glut. The more we chase quick hits, the less satisfying they become, leading to a cycle of craving but not fulfillment. And with our mental health, overstimulation can contribute to anxiety, restlessness, and even symptoms of addiction. So, what can we do about it? Well, let's practice mindful consumption. Notice when you're reaching for your phone or refreshing a feed out of habit, not intention. Set boundaries. Limit notifications, take social media breaks, and protect dopamine fasting time for deep work or real life connection. And prioritize deep rewards. Invest in activities that offer slower, more meaningful dopamine payoffs, like creative work, exercise, or genuine relationships. Take a moment to consider what's one way you can reclaim your attention this week. Here's a quote from Norman Vincent Peale. "Nothing in life is more important than the ability to concentrate and to focus your attention." Dopamine is often talked about in the context of motivation and reward, but it also plays a crucial role in learning and memory, and by extension, our attention. There are three roles of dopamine in memory. One, it aids in memory formation. You see, dopamine helps tag important experiences. When something is emotionally significant or rewarding, dopamine is released. This chemical tag signals your brain that this moment matters, making it more likely to be stored as long-term memory. For example, you're more likely to remember a big win, an exciting event, or a vivid conversation because dopamine helped encode it. 2. Motivation to learn. Dopamine drives curiosity and engagement. When you find something interesting or rewarding, dopamine motivates you to pay attention and take in new information, boosting your ability to learn and remember. And 3. Working memory. Dopamine supports short-term focus. In the prefrontal cortex, the brain's executive center, dopamine helps you hold and manipulate information in your mind, key for problem solving, planning, and staying on task. Too little dopamine can make it hard to focus, learn, or remember, seen in conditions like ADHD or Parkinson's disease. And too much dopamine can lead to overstimulation, distractibility, or even delusions, seen in some mental health disorders. With everything in our lives, we must find balance. So, think back to a powerful memory. Was it tied to a strong emotion or reward? That's dopamine at work. Let's close out with a bit of healing because I can imagine a few listeners being a bit rough with themselves upon realizing how their attention is manipulated and managed. We're bringing in Ho'oponopono. For the newbies, no, it's not a new superfood. It's the ancient Hawaiian art of clearing out your emotional junk drawer, so your focus doesn't get buried under last week's drama and that one embarrassing thing you said in 2007. Your attention is like your phone's storage, always full, mostly with stuff you should have deleted years ago. You're trying to focus, but your brain keeps popping up reminders. Remember that awkward email you sent? Still mad about that argument? Are you sure you locked the door? It's like living with a personal assistant who's stuck in the past and obsessed with your mistakes. This is where Ho'oponopono comes in, and first applied to yourself, then to others. Examples of Ho'oponopono for our attention are: I'm sorry, brain, for making you relive that Zoom call meltdown. Please forgive me for obsessing over my Candy Crush score. Thank you for reminding me, but we're moving on. And I love you, attention span, even if you're easily distracted by shiny things. When you Ho'oponopono your way through the mental clutter, suddenly your attention is free to do what it does best. Actually listen in meetings, finish a task before starting 3 new ones, and remember why you walked into the kitchen. In the meat model, that's a win. Because if your attention is busy holding grudges, it's not available for, literally anything else. So next time your focus is MIA, don't just reach for more coffee, try a little ho'oponopono, apologize to your brain, forgive your distractions, thank your memories, and love your weird, wandering mind. Your attention will feel so refreshed, it might even stick around for the whole episode. Here's a quote from Sherry Huber. The quality of your life is determined by the focus of your attention. This week, treat your attention like a VIP at an exclusive club. Not everyone and definitely not every app gets on the guest list. If something isn't adding value, show it to the door. In the meat model, attention is precious. Don't let your personality spin it all in one place. Because at the end of the day, your attention is worth more than all the likes, swipes, and beams in the world. Guard your attention like that last piece of cotton candy, because once it's gone, good luck getting it back. If you can't find your attention, check under your phone, behind your social obligations, or maybe in your next nap. Before you blame your phone for your lack of focus, check if Halt ate your attention for lunch. Don't forget, dopamine is like the brain's highlighter. It marks certain experiences or information as important, helping you remember them better. Healthy dopamine levels support both focus and memory. That's why habits like exercise, good sleep, and meaningful rewards can boost your memory and learning. Next week, we'll uncover time, the #1 sought after resource. So much so, we've made genres about time travel, and even a physician, Doctor Who. If you found value in today's episode, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss the latest. Share this episode with someone who could use a little inspiration or a good conversation. Your experiences help us all move forward together. Here's a final quote from Simone Weil. Attention is the rarest and purest form of generosity. Thank you for joining me on this journey through your limited, valuable, and semi-renewable resource. If you've learned something new about yourself, I'd love to hear from you. Remember, we're all trying to be our best selves, and sometimes we need to pay ourselves attention. Until next time, keep questioning, keep growing, and keep showing up for yourself. Take care, protect your meat, and join me next time where we'll pick and dig in on brain boogers.